What is up, guys? Welcome to Liverpool FC Journal. I'm Owen James. This is your Liverpool news update. It is Saturday morning. There is obviously no game today. Liverpool take on Barnsley on when is it again? We take on it's Monday, isn't it? Monday. The game is against Barnsley. Look, I think that game. There's going to be multiple changes made in that game, and we'll talk a little bit about them in this video. Not only obviously the fact that it's the FA Cup, and obviously I think Slot will make a number of changes, but also the fact that Liverpool have a number of injuries to senior players at this moment in time. But look, even it is Monday night, 7:45, FA Cup third round under the lights at Anfield. You gotta love the atmosphere. Gotta love it under the lights there. Anyway, look, we've got news of signings. We've got Mark Gahey update. The Mark Gahey soap opera rolls on and on. Guys, just about to go to work, so I'm trying to make this video quick before heading to work. Look, help me get to 1,000. Help me get to that situation where we hit that monetization and then we can perhaps give up work. Hey, there we go. Anyway, look, let's talk a little bit about a possible signing even in January. Now, I actually mentioned this signing the other day on the podcast live. We did was it a couple of days ago, was it a day ago? I can't remember. All these times flow into one in January, the longest month of the year, a month that lasts 2 months. Even if it's a month. I don't know how that works. There you go. Is this lad here, Rooney Badai or Badagi? It's a difficult name to say. He is currently a Barcelona player, but it's thought that he has really impressed Liverpool's scouts, and very much seems like, again, getting back to the old FSG type signings. Going back and signing these promising players who can be developed, who can be improved, and can then be obviously do a job for Liverpool, and then even maybe be sold on for a big profit at a later date. He's 20 years old. He is Swedish. His last name is Bardghji, Badagi, something like that. He wears Rooney on the back of his shirt. Yes, a Rooney playing for Liverpool. That would be a very odd thing, but he doesn't spell it the same as the fat Evertonian. He has made some appearances for Barcelona this season already, even at 20 years old, and has impressed during those performances. He's made one appearance in the Super Cup, scoring a goal with 2 assists, 3 goal contributions in a single game. Very impressive indeed for Hansi Flick's team. He also played in the Copa del Rey. He has made 9 appearances in La Liga, scoring 1 goal and 1 assist. Now, the majority of those appearances have come from the bench, as he's featured in only 16% of their starting 11s and 14% of their minutes. He's also made 3 appearances in the Champions League, all from the bench, but has contributed an assist in that time. He is a right winger, primarily. He can play left side, but he primarily is a right winger. Many people seeing him as a long-term replacement for Mo Salah. An interesting move there by Liverpool, obviously, with the fact that Mo Salah has only got 18 months left on his contract. He's of Armenian descent. His family, he was born in Kuwait City. He's actually from, I think, Aleppo in Syria as well. He's been there, but he has obviously... he was moved to Sweden as a youngster and has obviously then taken Swedish nationality. In terms of his past career, his past times, he has played for Copenhagen and Barcelona. With Copenhagen, he made 84 appearances, scoring 15 goals and 1 assist. In his time at Barcelona, obviously 14 appearances, 2 goals, 4 assists. He is also a Swedish international, having made 3 appearances for Sweden already. So definitely a player on the up and come. It's thought that Liverpool could get the player for as little as £35 million, possibly around about rising to 40, with the situation where we've got with Barcelona still obviously having certain financial issues, obviously around the club. He's very highly rated. He's very highly thought of. He has electric pace. He's got great dribbling skills. It works well in tight spaces. Excellent balance. Is even described as being both-footed as well. He's an inverted winger. He's obviously left-footed. He likes to cut in, very in the Salah kind of mould as well. Shooting as well, very dangerous with powerful shots, even using, like I said, his weaker right foot as well, so both-footed. Great pace and movement, great work rate. Has even been compared at times to Lionel Messi. So a very interesting possibility there. Now, look, I know all these transfer stories you have to take with a slight pinch of salt, but that would be a very, very, I think, good signing for Liverpool to make, even in the short term, to come in, especially obviously having missed out on Antoine Semenyo to Manchester City in this window. let's talk a bit about Mark Gahey, shall we? The Mark Gahey soap opera is rolling on and on. Mark Gahey, what is going on with Mark Gahey? Well, look, it appeared at one point that Crystal Palace were prepared to allow him to leave in this window. However, I think that is still the case. I think that is, very much still the case. But it's thought that Palace are now apparently would be willing to accept a little bit less for the player as they sort of realise the situation where the guy could walk for absolutely nothing. So these are conflicting reports. You've still got some reports saying that they want more than 35 million, others saying that they don't, that they're prepared to take this cut it in price because the fact they are concerned, obviously, that they're going to lose him for absolutely nothing. Liverpool are still very much interested in Mark Gahey. I think the preference at the club, though, is to wait till the summer to get him on a free. As I said before, nothing's free. You pay signing on fees, you pay wages, you pay all that stuff, agent fees, etc., etc. Now, there's a report this morning suggesting that although Manchester City are very, very much interested in the player, obviously to replace the injured Guardiola and Diaz, Gahey apparently is prepared to wait till the end of the season due to the fact that he wants to see out the season with Crystal Palace, doesn't want to move an uncertainty around, obviously, first team football in a World Cup year. So very much conflicting reports at this point in time. There is obviously more reports as well that the likes of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid and Barcelona are still sniffing round the player as well. Obviously, they can talk to Mark Gahey and his representatives in this window and up until the end of the season due to the fact that he is out of contract at the end of the season. And obviously, we know under the Bosman ruling, foreign clubs can talk to players not in their domestic league. So it's an interesting one. I would say, look, no matter what, with the situation we have at the club at this moment in time, we have lots of defensive injuries. Obviously, Conor Bradley now going to be out long term. We have obviously a situation where Joe Gomez is back, but his fitness is unreliable. Giovanni Leone is out for the rest of the season. Ibu Konate, was very, very good, don't get me wrong, against Arsenal, but has had a mixed season. We don't know where his head's at and where he is going with his contract. I would test Liverpool. If I was Liverpool, I would test Palace's resolve. Put in a 25 million pound bid for the player, see what they're prepared to do in this window. And then maybe have to hope that he isn't interested in this City move now, given what is being said around that. But look, I'll say what I've said before. Missing out on Mark Gahey would be a huge, huge loss for the club. He is a quality player and would definitely bring a lot of quality, a lot of talent, and I'll add a lot to that centre-back room, especially as well, I think, be a very much a long-term replacement, not only in terms of his place in the team, but in terms of leadership to Virgil van Dijk. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on the Mark Gahey situation. Drop me a comment down below. Look, could we see Calvin Ramsey on Monday night? I think there's a possibility that we could, obviously, given the injuries to Conor Bradley. And, the fact that Joe Gomez may well play a part on Monday night, but it would have to be, I think, at centre-half because of the situation that we have got. Jeremy Frimpong is unlikely to be risked, obviously. I think, we don't want to put him in a situation where he could be injured in this game, given the fact that obviously he is the only senior right back now at the club and was quite impressive against Arsenal. I think, going into that Barnsley game, and we'll obviously look at, we'll release a preview video a bit closer to the time, but I think it will be a much changed lineup, very, very much a much changed lineup. Look, and I hope that Slot still keeps some of the big hitters on the bench, because I don't want a situation where we could face a cup shock to Barnsley. The FA Cup for me is a great opportunity for Liverpool to get a trophy this season. And I'd love a trip to Wembley. I'd love to lift the FA Cup. I'm a traditionalist. I love the FA Cup. I think it's a great competition, and I'd love to see Liverpool lifted again. I think, Giorgio Mamardashvili will come back in goal for Alisson. I think we could see Calvin Ramsey at right back. I think the centre-half position, I think Gomez will start, although, given the situation around Bradley, could there be a situation where, Slot's not prepared to risk Gomez and want him to be, available for the Premier League game that comes up on the Saturday, and maybe plays two youngsters there, Lucky and Narlo maybe. And Narlo still hasn't headed out on loan yet, so could that be the situation? You like to see Andy Robertson at left back. This could be a situation where we would have in the past used Endo or someone like that, but with him being injured, I don't think that's going to happen at centre-half. So maybe Robbo at left-back. I think Alexis McAllister may stay in midfield, but Dom Szoboszlai is unlikely to be risked. Ryan Gravenberch unlikely to be risked. Curtis Jones, I think, does stand a chance of playing, and I think this is going to be an opportunity for Trey Naoni to come in and impress for Liverpool. And I hope Trey does play, and I hope he does have a good game. Look, Trey, I love Trey. I think he's a good kid, a good lad, and I hope he comes in and plays well. As for up front, I think Federico Chiesa will come in. Rio and Gamoa, be good to see him get a start as well. And I think, again, it would be one of the younger players coming in on the opposite flank there to support. I don't think, obviously, Gakpo is going to be played, although I've got to say Cody Gakpo was absolutely dire against Arsenal. He was absolutely dreadful. Ekitike, obviously, is not fit. Isak's not fit. So there is a real lack of attacking options there. I think, looking at the attacking options we have at this moment in time, I think, again, Florian Wirtz not likely to be risked either in that game. I think, hopefully Arne will have the likes of Wirtz and Szoboszlai and that lot on the bench, because look, we do need to have options there. But you look at that youngsters. Obviously, Jaden Dan's still not fit. Maybe someone like Kone Doherty comes in. Maybe Bradshaw, maybe Gordon, maybe someone like that comes in as a possibility to play up front in that game. But look, as much as I think he will make changes, I do hope that Arne takes it seriously and has big hitters on the bench who can come in and make a difference. If needed, if required, and I'm hoping that is not the case. Guys, let me know your thoughts on the lineup and how you would line up against Barnsley on Monday night. Thank you for watching the Liverpool FC Journal. Please, obviously, if you enjoyed the content, like, comment, share, and more importantly, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.